I have been out all day working, and Ben sent me a picture of the flooring up here. And it looked pretty nice. Now, we're not going to be leaving it exposed, but I haven't even seen this bathroom yet. Let's see what they did here. Oh boy. So they have removed the whole ceiling in this upstairs bathroom. Wall. Now remember, this room is getting gutted on the floors. This cabinet's coming out, hopefully keeping the wall. And then the green tile's coming out, but I'm keeping the tub, and depending on how well it cleans up, I might have it re-enameled to match maybe just a little brighter white. I'm not sure yet. But all this molding will be coming off, and yeah. Well, let's see what's in here. Oop, I have to be careful. So, I haven't even seen down. He just tells me now there's a hole in the floor. Thank you. So what they did, they went through this upstairs down to over the cabinet. And look at these beautiful old boards that were underneath this board. Wow. And the top of the beam looks like an old dowel hole. This is great. I love seeing these. Wow. Oh, right downstairs. All right then. I guess it's a good thing that it's just us here at the house. So that's this part. The floor in Emma's bedroom has been cut open. They will replace it once they take care of all of the sheetrock. And then, here we go. This wall is gone. And so is this wall. And let me show you the ceiling. We had water damage all the way over here. Now, when we had the mitigation company here, they said there wasn't any wetness up here, and they said there wasn't any wetness left over there. Well, there was. And here's another thing we found in the wall. There was a blank switch plate cover here. And they thought, well, maybe it was going to run to some wire. I'll tell you why that was a good thing. Well, inside the wall, they found that, just like that, pushed in. So this is a good thing, that all of this is being found. We're going to have that put in a proper box, get rid of that. But over here, let me first show you. The only closet they had in here to access another part of the house was this teeny tiny closet. I mean, it's only, let me see, about 2 hand widths, and it's hard to get in there. And then when they put in our mini split, they took up even more. But this is a hard turn to get inside of the other part of the house, just to access up in the eaves. So while they were cutting out that part of the wall, I suggested, let's just cut this part of the wall as well. And we're going to make a paneled door. And since this is all cut now, I'm going to do beadboard, I think, in here. And then we'll do a beadboard panel. Or I'll just do a door panel, and I'll still have just, probably wallpaper, and here's my thought. Now, I have been looking at a lot of photos on Pinterest and projects I've done in the past, and this is a Pinterest photo I came across, and something resonates with me. I don't know if it's the wallpaper that has the white background, if it's the trim color, the large window out back, but I'm really liking this, and I did promise no scope creep in this project. I've already done one thing, but I'm also envisioning a large window where the 2 windows are. It would be a beautiful view of the backyard, the new barn, and we could put an office desk under this window. What would you do? So this is the only thing I've added. This is going to be a door. We're going to keep that one also to access working on the mini split if needed. But this will be a lot easier to take this off and go straight through, because watching very large grown men, 6 feet tall or so, climb through here has been kind of comical. I have trouble doing that. I'm 5'1". So, yes, that is this part. Now I get to go down and see what the tavern looks like. But I wanted to see these floors before they covered it up, and so cool. No coins at all. But, and I'm going to say these aren't even, this doesn't even look old. Like there is a square hole here or more rectangle. So this is, I think, is part of another remodel. I don't know, but very cool. All right, let's go see what downstairs looks like. And then we're gonna, oh, hello. It just startled me. Wait a minute. We can do the tavern later. I just gotta shut this. I'm gonna quickly film this. I came home with dinner tonight. Coming to find out, they didn't pack everything I got for dinner. So Ben's taking me down the street to a Mexican place. So this is what they did. They were able to remove the old sheetrock from above. They didn't even have to take off the molding, which is amazing. I love this crew that we work with. Love it. Let's see here. I'm just wondering if they're gonna take off these little end panels, but maybe not. And I don't know if anything was done in the bathroom or not. I don't think they hit the bathroom yet. Nope, nothing done there. All right, so this is what they've cut out so far. All righty. Interesting. You've seen it here, folks. It could be worse, right? I keep saying it's kind of like the seasons. You know it's gonna get there. You know it's gonna be beautiful. It's just gonna take some time. Good morning, kindred spirits. Well, I have to tell you, I am very glad to not wake up to ice like they thought we would, or snow. Some of the areas, I haven't looked at the news yet, might have had it a little bit higher than us, but so far, nothing here. But it makes me glad I didn't completely clean up all the leaves, because that's where a lot of our little insects are still sleeping, and I have some more little new plants coming up. But over here, where I did the sow-seeing for the poppies, I'm not sure if they're going to take, because there is a lot more bark mulch than I remembered. I do have a lot of violets coming up and some other little pansies, but I'm not too sure if those poppies will happen. And if not, I'm going to get the same packet and try those next year. But for days, I got myself involved with metal detecting, because I found something up on the hill that could be Sugarwood 1.0. It could be the original house, and if not, it's where they boiled maple sap. But I'm finding a lot of nails. I found a nutmeg grater, which is from an earlier time or a later time, but it still could have been house used up until the late 1890s, I guess. So I've been up there and I've been making paths in the woods, and those paths, it makes me happy because I have garden rooms planned for that. But anyways, I'm going to head inside. My hands are a little chilly. I have my coffee, but it's still not helping. I think it's only 35 degrees, but like I said, I'm just glad it's not snow. Fair warning, this next part of the video might not be for everyone, and I will not be upset if you decide to move on, but I'm kind of doing this to journal what we're doing here at Sugarwood. And this next part is from when I started metal detecting last week and found a little structure at the top of the hill that made me wonder if it was either the old house that I've read about or from maple sap. And I have kind of some information that still makes me think it could be one or the other, and I'm going to share that during this part of the video. So some is last week, and it's going to morph slowly into just 2 days ago. I am getting ready to head back to the flat piece of land that I did end up finding a lot of square nails. and some lead flashing, which is over right there. And the only thing that's throwing me is that there is not a foundation that I can see. But for the first time when I was walking back and then even saw this where I was standing, we have, you can kind of see with the shadows following, there is a whole berm here. That is a stone wall of some sorts. Then there is a grouping of rocks right here. And then there's the wall that, I don't know if it connects, but there's also a wall here that goes down. This is the area that I'm going to clean, and this is all going to be cleaned up, which is connected to the hill I look at out the kitchen. So all this is going to be cleaned up soon. I am going to metal detect even around this area, because this is different. This round of stones, it could be a well that was filled in, because I did read that there's a well on the hill. I don't know, that could be there. And then there's another odd cropping of stones here. It could be just wall they took apart. It could be foundation. I don't know. This is the fun of living on an old property. And once we clean a lot of this up, I'll be able to come out here with the leaf blower, clear a lot of this off, and just make it prettier than it is with all of these fallen trees. I think I've pointed this out. That chair is from a previous owner, so I'm going to clean that up. Not clean it up, clear it out. But right now, I am headed for that flat area to see if I can find some more, at least nails. It was frozen ground where I was digging. It was hard to get to things. And I think after the rain, I might have a little more luck. But I'm going to do a little bit here too. I'm not going to film it because I have to have two hands, but I've got my metal detector here, my shovel, I have my pinpointer, my gloves, and some flags. And yes, I'm a geek. I'm a China buying, metal detecting geek. All right, I'm going to shut the camera off for a bit and I will do a little update in a moment. One thing I have learned over a short amount of time is that when you find birch trees in the forest, that means the forest was either cleared, had a fire, had some sort of clearing done to it. Birch trees are colonizing trees. They will grow where they weren't before, and they will grow before anything else, colonizing the area. So this is the flat area, but I'm also seeing a depression over there, because I'm also looking where there could be a foundation, but this flat area intrigues me. The nails could have been from a fence for animals, but if I didn't show the video prior to this, I was up here with the snow just the other day and it melted. Our house is right there. It's hard to see because I'm in the wrong location, but that's our back field of our house. So if I clear this up, I'm going to put some sort of bench up here too. It'll just be very pretty to be up here. But anyways, I'm going to go back to metal detecting. I found some nails up here and I want to see if I can find anything else. It's going to be hard to focus, but I did find some very old nails out here. Has the square top. What I found this with, I now know I found a wood bucket because here is the ring that goes with it. And along with it was fairly close, I found probably the other strapping to it. So I think what I've come across is an area where they maybe melted down some of the sap. But I'm going to keep looking for sure. Now that I know I've got, I don't care what kind of treasure it is. I found a thing and I found a thing. That's awesome. So far I have found smaller buckets, handles, a tin can, and then I started thinking, well, maybe the house was up here after finding the tin can. Maybe that was the outhouse. That would be my luck. Ben came up and he cut the tree for me. And I am finding in here definitely burnt bricks. So this was a fire pit of some sort. And did I already mention I found a really old nail? Yes, I did. I mentioned that already. I also found an old piece of wrought iron strapping that it's not new. So I don't know when that is from. And it looks like I found a piece of a tractor, like a tractor pan, or maybe a door-to-door wood stove. That was over there. Unfortunately, it broke under a tree limb, but I might be able to find some raised lettering on it if it is something. I just didn't look yet. But I'm digging in here a little bit. I got another metal in here somewhere, and it could be just another nail. But I'm gonna see if I can find what that is. But this is all burnt soil and burnt debris. Just found an old hatchet head. I might be able to date that. There's some great websites to help date those things. And then, I could be wrong, but do you remember in the video we just watched of the maple syrup tin dishes that were made with metal from England? And it had that seam? Maybe. I don't know. But I've got all kinds of weird treasures in here. Nothing really good. I think the hatchet's probably the most fun thing so far. And I love this nail. I did find a newer nail, though, in the same fire pit, so go figure. I'm going to keep digging. And the sun's starting to set. That's okay. I'm not sure if I mention it later in another part of the video, but I did come to the conclusion that this structure was used over many years with different layers, because at one point under a layer of bricks, I pulled a couple up that were broken. There was another burn pile with older nails. So this was used over time by maybe different homeowners that lived here. I found this old photo online, which when I first saw it, I'm like, absolutely, I found what was used to make maple syrup. And that's still a possibility, because when I found that old hatchet head, I was thinking they were breaking up old wood from previous buildings here on the property and burning it for the sap. And as you can see, this is rectangle. There's a pipe going up the back, which I'm just noticing now actually editing this, which makes sense for the cement pipe that I had there, and also open on one end. But you're going to see a little bit later in the video that someone else found a structure very similar that was used for a house, and they made fireplaces 4 feet long to hold logs. But the photo I'm going to show you might also be a maple sap boiling structure where the old house was. So the jury's still out. It's past 6 o'clock. It's time for me to stop, and I've realized what I have to do here. It's going to take time. I'm not going to be able to do this in 1 day or 2 days, but I was able to dig down to what I think is the bottom. At least it looks like on the end here, there was probably a flat rock here in the woods, I'm going to guess, and they built the shape around the rocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this a little more systematically. I kind of went in it like a bull in a china shop. I'm going to, at one point, bring a tarp up here and put all the soil on the tarp so I can dig this out and put any of the other broken things on the side. I found a lot of junk back here, just like really down close to the bottom here. And some of that concrete looks like it could have been from maybe an old concrete pipe of some sort, because it definitely has a ridge on that one. So if anybody has any ideas of what that concrete could be, like I said, I'm thinking pipe, but I had some fun. And I'm glad I did this before the mosquitoes are showing up. They're going to be here soon. But I'm going to see if I can figure out and look for any raised name on either side of this metal. There's absolutely nothing on that metal. But I think my favorite find is this big, huge nail and the hatchet head. So, and the mixture of nail dates is just, it's confusing me. There's square, there's round, and I'm going to see if I can look it up, but it's definitely a burn pile. Found all the charcoal in here and ashes, so this was a fun find up on the hill here. Don't know what it is yet, but I may never know, or I might. Well, I just got in from my little metal detecting excursion, and I had picked up some fresh salmon that just got delivered to one of our little local markets, and I love to pick that up on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And I'm just going to zest it out with a little bit of lime, And sometimes I even put some Cajun spice on here or cayenne. But right now I'm just gonna do lime, a little salt, and pop it in an oven. And I'm gonna be putting this on a salad. Just some different lettuces, a little tomato. I got some fresh olive oil and vinegars at a little shop. But I'm just gonna pop this in the oven in a moment and sit, probably have a glass of wine maybe, and enjoy the rest of my night. Okay. Hello. As my exercise, I have been stacking wood, and I have quite a ways to go, but I want to show you a path that I made. Literally made it. Look at the sky. We're gonna head up to where I found that structure. I did clean this up last week. I've got to clean up, but I stacked some wood there that I still have to stack. But this old foundation, this is going to be a garden. I'm waiting to see what kind of sun it does and does not get in the summer. It's probably going to be a part shade garden, but this will be a garden here. And this is stuff I'm going to do over the course of time. This is a path that we kind of finished. There was a path at one point, but we made it wider. And then the wall seems to end here. And I do see another large rock there, so I don't know what's going on underground. But I took a turn here, and this is all going to be what I clean up. I was in here about an hour and a half using the large leaf blower. But here's that structure all cleaned off, or this bed of rocks. Once again, I do not know what it is, but it does go in two different directions. I don't need to know what it was in the past. I just know what it's going to be in the future. So all this is going to get cleaned up, and I'll probably plant a lot of deer-resistant bulbs. Like I can envision daffodils that will be coming up each spring. I'm looking forward to leaf blowing in there. But I made some garden rooms up in the woods here and a lot of paths. So this is a little stream that shows up every spring. Now, at this point, we wouldn't be able to use the gator, even though it's wide enough because we have trees in the way. And I was just telling Ben, I envision this more as my walking path because I am nice and close to the house. When I go deep in the woods, I don't get nervous, but it's a lot buggier there, and this will be a lot easier for me to do some, like I said, garden rooms. I've been inspired by so many places that I've been to up in Booth Bay and other garden places. All right, so if I go left, it will take me to where I found the old fire pit or fireplace. I created a path that went up the hill. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll come down that. So I came in here and blew off as many leaves as possible. Like I said, I ran a half a tank of gas in that whole thing. Quite a ways to go, but it was hard blowing the leaves with the sticks. But the reason I did this is we are expecting some snow. And if I can get the drone inside here and just go up high enough to look down, what I found just by chance last week is if there is any stone foundation here, the heat of the stones seem to show up through that little frost. And I'm going to insert a photo here right now that shows the outline of the old pool and a pathway that goes off to the back of the woods. So the pool's probably, the metal coping might still be on there. I have no idea. But the path completely shocked me. But I do know from old photos that where that path goes to, I saw what looks like a hammock, and I'm finding grapevine. So maybe they had a little getaway. Everybody who lived at this house loved it and did so much to it. And I'm uncovering a lot of stuff that they did. But here is my fire pit or fireplace. And I did do some research. I did find out that when they built cabins up here in this town, when it was a different town, they said they built fireplaces to hold 4-foot logs, and then they would burn at night. So I'm sorry, this looks about 4 feet long. I still don't know if this is fireplace or if it was used for maple sap. I don't know if I'll ever know. Maybe when I do a little bit more digging up here, I'll get my answer. I almost forgot to show. This is a photo I found on Instagram of a metal detector that I follow. This is his photo of the rectangle, and check out the tree at the beginning. It's pretty funny that it is so similar to the photo I took with the tree and the rectangle. So that's why I was a little bit then curious if this was a home site. But once again, he could have also found a maple sap boiling pit. I don't know. I did reach out to him to see if he had any further information about the site he was working on, and I haven't heard back yet, but if I find anything out, I'll let you know. I was just somewhere and I did find a piece of pottery. I have to remember where I was. Oh, it was down by the other wall. It blew up from the soil. So I'll probably just, kind of blow the leaves off the edge of the hill. And my hopes are to bring a bench up here. And who knows, in the future, I might just come up here with marshmallows and my grandkids and use this fire pit. I'd have to clean up a little bit more here, but that's kind of my goal. I'm trying to make this property something that I can explore and have little adventures with the grandkids when they come. Hopefully I'm not 90 by then. And over here, if I showed earlier, I have my dirt that was inside the fire pit, all the different layers, all the different nails from different era. It's kind of interesting. So then I created the path to go here. Another log we're going to cut later in time, but right now, no problem just to step over it. I started blowing a path that goes this direction, and I know which way I'm going to go. I'm actually going to follow a deer path, and figured if they make it through easily, that's where I'm going to blow the path. But one thing I had fun doing here, over here, this was a lot of leaf blowing. And yes, they're going to blow back at one point, but at least I got a start. I am going to make a garden room here that's a woodland garden room. I've got more leaves to blow, and I'll probably try to get them into a pocket and kind of just hopefully they'll stay there. But I can envision all kinds of shade-loving, forest-loving plants in here, and maybe hide some little fairy houses. Ben took the leaf blower and he filled it up. Now he's doing something somewhere else at the house. All right, let's see here. Then I blew the path so it goes up this direction, which goes up to the highest point. Well, actually, it's not the highest point of our property, but to our wall. We have a really beautiful spot that goes nice and high. But I'm looking forward to clearing this up so that I can take casual walks whenever I want. Miles and miles and miles of wall in the woods here. I have trouble moving a couple stones. Ben has trouble moving a couple stones. Can you imagine all of this? But we're going to be cleaning this up, and as fast as we do it, other limbs will fall, but that's okay. Like I said, this is exercise for us. It's keeping us young, keeping our bodies moving. I don't know why I kept choosing paths where there's logs across, but I did have one go in this way. And I'm going to go up to another path that meets it, but I want to show you something once I do that. Now, at one point, the land to the left here was part of this property. Not too long ago, actually, within 20 years' time. When I was metal detecting 2 years ago, I did find a lot of nails up here, and I found an old iron dish rack. And it's here somewhere. I don't know where I put it. I put it down saying I'll find it. I haven't again. So maybe I'll find it when I metal detect again. But then I have a little turn here. Once again, I don't know why I kept choosing where a tree fell, but I did. Now over here is some more stones. And there's a lot of stones in here that is absolutely made by Mother Nature. And a lot of times I'm finding circular stones around trees. I believe that's when the tree grew and the roots grow. It's bringing up all the stones. But this grouping, I did find a lot of iron in here and nails. So if right there was a house, was their cabin, this could very easily have been the privy. Imagination station. I'm going to use that terminology from now on. It came into my head this morning. That's what my brain is, my imagination station. But this is part of the path I just finished blowing, and I'll keep doing it little by little. But I was actually smiling, and I was so happy doing this because my goal, like I said, is to keep working on this property, making garden rooms, and little at a time. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I mean, even if I just keep blowing these paths and giving myself a place to walk, that makes me happy. But now we have an easy access to bring a garden bench up here or something. And it's overlooking the yard. I can't help but wonder if Ben might be blowing where he's envisioning the driveway. That would make sense. Or he's maybe blowing some wood chips that went into the yard from last fall when they took down trees. But there are so many areas here that we just keep looking at, like there's a square of stones here. Is that just nature or something else? When I was just looking at the book for the other town that used to be this town, there were people living here in 1740s and before. So who knows? This could have had people on it a lot longer than I was thinking. And if they were living here for 40 to 70 years before Sugarwood was built, Sugarwood 1.0 might have been sitting here a lot longer and have a lot of these other little structures. So there's one over here that we were eyeballing and saying, okay, this is completely a square right here. It comes down and there's a point here, it goes up, and there are some square stones that look like a step. So I even had been on that imagination roll. It's like, who knows? I've been picking up logs and sticks here. But right here we have some of the flat rock that we were saying, well, maybe that was a step. Maybe not. But, so here, as you know, this channel is called New England Fine Living. And a lot of times I love showing using my teacups and my silver. Well, fine living to me is also getting out in nature and doing something I love to do. So if you're coming here because you like seeing all this stuff, I love that because I'm having fun. And I can't wait to make this even prettier. Oh, Willow found me. Oh, you know what he's doing? I can see the puff of dust. He is blowing the front yard getting rid of all of the sand that was put on our yard, on the grass. I showed that in last week's video. What a mess. I went back out later that evening and I did find, of all things, a nutmeg grater. So that also confuses me. Am I on a dump? I don't know, because this is more 1890s to 1920s, and I don't know. Last but not least, I wanted to give you a sweet pea update and seed update. Now, unfortunately, these grew a lot faster than I thought they would. And I mentioned that I usually like to put them in something tall, that also their roots can go long. And I'm already bumming out that the root system is coming out through the bottom. I am gonna have to be so careful transplanting these. I might actually transplant these sooner than later into something deeper, because with our weather pattern, it will be probably too soon to bring these outside, even if I harden them, taking them in and out just to get them ready for the cool weather. And I could also put them under plastic if I know bad cold weather's coming, but I'm just pleased that they're growing here. And I do have some of the 22 seeds are growing. A few have started. And then as of this morning, for the first time, actually, it's even more so since early this morning. This is hysterical. These are the leeks that I planted. Still waiting to see some of the asparagus. I have to give some of the cells a little more water there. And nothing yet with the butterfly pea. And as I mentioned in one of the last videos, I forgot to scar the seeds. So these might not sprout, but I'm gonna keep an eye on those. But at least I have leeks. So I know one of the garden beds will have a leeks section, and I have to find a place still for the sweet peas. And if they don't make it, I'm just glad that they got this stage of life done. Well, I hope you liked today's video. I'm going to be getting some Easter things out of the loft. I'll be decorating this week, and I'm going to be working on some garden bed ideas that I will show you in the upcoming days. Bye now.